You can just try and answer in full sentences as well, so because obviously my voice is going to be cut out, so if I asked you where we are today, you'd say, today we are at.
Right, yeah.
So just for the benefit.
Yeah.
You can do all the names.
You're rolling now? Yeah. So Gareth, you could just tell us your full name and how we spell it for the editors back in the office.
Gareth Watkins, Gareth Watkins.
Perfect. And you're a service user of Tuish Bonner still?
Yeah, I've been involved since 2015.
You still involved now? Did you?
Yeah, we still do things. Obviously, there's been a bit of a knock-on effect with the lockdown, which we haven't been able to attend some of the events. But yeah, we're still very active. My daughter's involved now as well. She's a young ambassador with them. So yeah, we've been involved. It's like a family now. We've got to know them quite well. So
brilliant. Okay, Gareth. You're on. Perfect. Cool. Could you just sort of start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you first sort of came into contact with Rhian and the team?
Yeah, I first got involved in April 2015 when our daughter was rushed into hospital and died suddenly. That night we just went into a room, and that was the first where they told us, she'd passed away, and that was the first time I'd heard of Tuish. I'd never heard of them before. They gave us a memory box that night with little trinkets and a phone number to call, because we come out the hospital similar to what Rhian did when it happened to her, but there was nobody for her. We had that number to call the next morning, and pretty much from that day now we've been in touch with Tuish. We had group counselling, individual counselling, school therapy with my daughter, so we've been quite heavily involved from the start, and they've grown massively. The first meeting we went to, the family meeting, there was I think 5 of us in a room above a hairdresser's in Llantrisant. But obviously how that's grown now, there's offices and everything, so yeah, it's grown hugely since we got involved.
So when you first found out about Rhian, was that through the hospital itself?
Yeah,
immediately? Or?
Yeah, it was on that night. They said, here's a memory box, and there's numbers in there you can call if you need help. Because there was another number as well for another charity. I can't even think what the name was, but there was I think there was a 4-week wait to have any counselling. When the counselling with Tuish was instant, we had a counsellor with us within, I think it was about 48 hours. I think there was the lady come up to see us. And the room that we actually went in that night now is a Tuish family room dedicated to my daughter. So we've got the plaque and everything. So when we've been back to the hospital since, it's there. And her name's on the wall, so it's quite a nice touch as well.
Is it Taryn?
Yeah, Taryn was my daughter, yeah.
Obviously, I can't begin to imagine what it must have been like, but I mean, how did the services offered by To Make a Wish, how did that help you?
I'll be honest, I didn't know what to do those first couple of days, and I don't know how we would have got through it if it wasn't for Tuish, because they came, they sort of, explained to us what was going on. I remember we agreed then to go to one of the family sessions, which was about 2 weeks later, I think. And I remember sitting in the car park thinking, I don't want to go in here. Nobody's going to know what we're talking about. But we went in. There was 3 or 4 other families in the same boat who'd lost children in a different way. But it made it easier to speak to people who've been through it. There's only so much counsellors can do if they haven't been through it themselves, if you know what I mean.
In terms of since then, obviously you sort of mentioned you're still sort of involved. What sort of things do you do?
I've signed up. I'm an ambassador now with Tuish, so pretty much anything they need doing, I'm happy to muck in with. But we've had we do the cycle ride annually, which obviously didn't go ahead this year. And one of the things that sort of got picked up over the couple of years is the fact that sort of women get more involved than the men. So we did sort of come together. There's myself and a couple of other dads. We've played in a 5-a-side football tournament. We've had a couple of rugby matches, which I think for me personally, and I know a couple of other dads, worked a lot better, because if you sit around a table and say, talk about your feelings, we ain't going to do it. But chuck a ball in, go on a run about on a pitch and a chat afterwards, and it's different. And I think that worked a treat. I found that really helpful with the other dads.
So it was sort of 5 years ago since obviously what happened, but you still find it beneficial to yourself to sort of be involved in these things?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say I need the one-to-one counselling anymore, but it does help, when you go to the different events, the annual ball or anything, and it's nice to meet up with people you've met over the 5 years, because the charity's grown so much now. There's new people coming in all the time, but I've been there from the start, pretty much near the start. It's nice to see people who would help are still coming back. And like, I'm happy to talk to other people if they want, we're going through a fresher, because they don't know, there's still days when I feel like, why did it happened? But you get through it. But, I can imagine what it's like now, if people have lost children 6 months ago, a year ago, it's still really raw to them. So it's hard, but, we make the best of it. And, it's like a family they've created now with Tuish. It's really good.
Obviously, when you sort of first started with them 5 years ago, they've been fairly new, sort of like 3 years. So how much have you seen the charity grow over the 5 years?
Massively, because I remember the first time we done it right, we decided as a thank you we'd do a mud run, me and a couple of my mates, and I think we dropped our donations then to, I think Rhian was based in at the back of a printing shop in Llantrisant then, so it was just drop the money off. And like I said, the first meeting we went to was above an hairdresser's, but now you've got, they've got office space, got regular events. The size on it now compared to what it was when we first got involved 5 years ago is immense. I was grown, and it's still growing.
And how much does that show how much it was needed, or how much of a gap there was?
Oh, I think it was a massive gap, but I think I sort of read bits and bobs, and I think you look at other parts of the country, and I don't think they've got half of what we've got with Tuish. And it's all self-funded. It's all through people donating, but it's all because Rhian inspires people. She isn't, she won't want me to say it, but she does. She gives you that kick on the backside to go and do stuff. So it's been really, I can't imagine our life now without Tuish.
Tell us a little bit about Rhian then. Obviously, was she the first person you sort of got in contact with?
No, I don't know the first initial contact. It might well have been Rhian, but my wife made the phone call, and one of the counsellors come up and encouraged us. We had a chat about it, and then I can't recall the first time we actually met Rhian now. But ever since, we know she's at the end of the phone if we need her, and vice versa. If there's an event coming up, you can bet she's going to be on the phone, and you're doing it whether you want. Well, not so much whether you want or not, but she gets us all involved, and it's not just the parents. There's my daughter in school was helped. My parents they set up a grandparents group a couple of years ago, which my parents went to, and they've made really good friends through the grandparents group. Even through lockdown now, they've been Rhian have been the quiz master. They've been doing grandparents quizzes and bingo, which helps because obviously my father passed away earlier in the year. My mother been in lockdown, so her interaction with people has been limited. So she looked forward to a Tuesday night game of bingo with Rhian and all the others. Got her a bit up on tech and got her onto Zoom and things. So it's just things like that. It's not purely parents with it's the whole family and friends. And we've got friends who've got involved with the fundraising and stuff since. So the way it's grown is massive.
So I mentioned lockdown there and the coronavirus pandemic. I mean, how difficult do you think it's been for the charity throughout those months, and how impressive you've been that they've managed to come through that?
I can imagine it's been, it's really tough, just from my work with, you can see the money's not there and because Tuish is totally self-funded, without the events that we do 5-6 times a year, that money's not coming in, so they're relying on then, people doing their own little fundraising events, and we've done, there've been little events going on that, you just buy into the virtual Q&A and a quiz night with Ellis Jenkins, who Welsh Rugby International and things which have been set. Anything like that helps. It's just getting through this tough period. So, but I got no doubt they'll come out the other side and Tuish will come back bigger and stronger because Rhian will be there making sure it does.
The fact that they've done all the online stuff and kept people engaged, and the need is obviously still there.
100%, yeah.
How the fact that she's worked so hard to get through that, and the rest of the team as well. I mean, it must be quite impressive.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's not the team that Rhian got around her as well. They're all they've got the same mindset. It's we're all in it together, and they drag you. If you go to the events, they're there to help. If you go on one of the runs or something, you're flagging, they're there to cheer you on. It's unbelievable.
In terms of bringing communities together, you obviously mentioned your parents as well. So, like you said, it's extended from just the immediate parents.
Yeah.
But, the communities down here in sort of South Wales, but now expanding to North Wales. I mean,
Yeah.
how much of a benefit do you think the charity services have on the local communities and bringing everyone?
The effect they've had around here, because I think, there's a lot of people I know now through friends of mine who've done it, who live in this local community in the Pontyclun area, who've sort of joined in. They haven't lost a child necessarily, but they know Rhian, they know the work she's done. So even for around here, but it's good to see now that it's gone to North Wales as well, because I think everyone in Britain needs it, and I think there are other parts of Britain that haven't got, are not lucky enough to have what we've got here. So it's good now it's growing, and hopefully it'll keep growing.
So the bench obviously has been awarded to Rhian. It's going to be put down by the hospital, which is quite a nice poignant place for it to be put, and obviously it recognises her achievements, but also it increases the exposure of the charity.
Yeah.
So how special do you think that is?
I think that's going to be amazing, because the thing with any charity, especially with self-funded charities, is unless your name's out there, people don't know about it. I didn't know about Tuish before anything happened to us, and I know now sometimes when I mention Tuish to people, they're like, oh, well, what's Tuish? And then, you get into things. I know when I done one of the half marathons I was jogging along, I had my Tuish t-shirt on, and some ladies were like, oh, what a Tuish, and then you're jogging around, and you realise then you're 20 minutes later, you've just been rabbiting on for 20 minutes explaining it, and they, you see then next time you go somewhere there's other people with Tuish t-shirts on. So I think when people know about the charity, it's the type of charity people are inspired to help, because you expect to lose parents and older generation, but nobody expects to lose a child. So I think that's what, I think when people it hasn't happened to, sit back and think about it and think, well, it could happen to anybody at any time, and I think that inspires others to get involved as well.
And then finally, Gareth, if you could sum up Rhian in one word, what would it be?
Determined.
If I could sum up Rhian in one word, it would be?
If I could sum up Rhian in one word, it'd probably be determined, because she never takes no for an answer, and once she sets her mind on something, it's going to get done, and that rubs off on the rest of us.
Perfect. You're the third person out of three to say determined.